Hello everyone. Before watching, we put a thumbs up under the video, write comments and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy your viewing. Flashback. The boy was sitting at the TV and watching a show with boy fights. People who breakdance, whose art can be appreciated by people of all ages. Another boy came up to him, it was his brother. When he first saw the boys, he fell in love and started dancing every day. After a while, dancing became everything in his life. He wanted to become a boy, known throughout the country and continue to win, striving to shine the best. He thought it would always be like this. But in an instant his light went out. Currently, a guy who aspires to conquer people with his dancing is now just sitting and playing computer games. After losing, he got angry and started shouting. His brother, who was preparing for the civil service exam, came to the noise. He told him to be quiet because he was hindering him with his screams. Having calmed down, he just lay down on the bed. Now he is an ordinary high school student. Many may think that he abandoned his goal because of laziness, but there is a sadder reason. A guy who wants to become a famous boy lost his leg due to an accident on stage. Stage equipment collapsed during the competition and crushed his leg. Now instead of a leg he has a prosthesis that replaces the lost limb. At that moment his radiance went out and he began to live an ordinary life. Morning, our sleepy protagonist is heading to school. Changing his shoes, he thought about his lunch nap and forgot about the prosthesis, turning his head in different directions and making sure that no one noticed he went to class. The bell rang for recess. The guy got up and headed for the exit. On the way he touched some big guy and decided to just ignore him. An irritated bully noticed a strange gait of the main character and asked the guy next to him about it, to which he replied that he had heard that his leg was amputated in high school because of dancing. Two guys joked about the consequences of dancing. This made him very angry, but he just continued on his way, thinking that he himself did not like limping because of a prosthetic leg instead. No dancing, these words do not leave his head. Evening, the main character was walking and remembering today's events, which made him angry. He didn't like it when people said that. He remembered the victory over the real pros of his business, but the thought of the prosthesis and its inability to dance saddened him. Did he give up? Suddenly he noticed three people in the distance. It was those two jokers and an unknown girl. He began to listen to their conversation. From what he heard, he realized that this girl asked the bully if he was doing sports. In response she received information that this bully uses chemistry and spends a lot of money on it, for no he doesn't need daily training. They decided that it would be easy to deceive this girl for money and said that if he showed her his muscles, she would give them 5 million won. Having been refused and reproached about fake muscles, the big guy got angry, at that moment decided to intervene the main character. Taking 2 stones, he threw them with the words that their brains had turned into muscles. When he asked about the girl's condition, she shouted to him about the danger. The bully woke up and attacked the boy, but he easily dodged. The bully remembered the limp who had seen at lunch, on which the main character, resting his hands on the ground, kicked him in the face using movements from dancing. After knocking out the bully, he began to worry about the condition of the prosthesis. When the main character was leaving, the girl called out to him. She thanked him for his help and asked if he was interested in the workout. Silence fell and our boy was the first to interrupt her. He simply refused and went home, and the girl, stunned by such an answer, remained standing where she was. The main character's house, while taking bath procedures, the main character recalled the workout and what it is like. He considered that these were simple upper body lifts and so on. When he danced, he did a little physical training. Thinking about that first-year student and how long she had been in this club, he played computer. Morning, the main character's house, the boy spent the whole night on the computer. Having gathered, he went to school. Park, the guy was sitting on a bench because the morning in the park is so blissful. Deciding for himself that he wouldn't be going anywhere after school anyway, he decided to sleep through a few lessons since he hadn't slept all night. 8 hours later, the main character fell asleep and slept all day. Knowing that if he returns home now, he will get a scolding from his mother. Soon, noticing yesterday's girl, she jumped up and grabbed the horizontal bar, after which she smoothly stood in a handstand. While she was doing this, our main character thought how cute she was, and it would be nice to walk with such a beauty after school, but when she finished, he was shocked because he did not believe in the possibility of doing such a thing without any return. The girl did not stop there, holding on to the horizontal bar. She began to fall forward and at a certain moment released the crossbar and flew up, after which, after scrolling 360 degrees, she grabbed the horizontal bar with one hand and hung on. She rejoiced at the success of the exercise, which turned out better than the last time. Noticing yesterday's guy, the girl fell from surprise. She noticed a glint in his eyes. He came up to her and said it was awesome, and he wants to learn it. He remembered his childhood when he first saw the boys that his brother showed him, these magnificent movements, this feeling that he considers cool, he felt it again. The guy started begging the girl to teach him, and he is ready to start with a comprehensive workout. At this moment, the radiance reawakened in the guy's heart. The main character's house, a woman in an apron called Dong-ho to the table, but he did not respond. Thinking that he could not hear her again because of the computer, she complained about his purchase, but when the woman approached her son's room, the door was locked, and there was a computer on the floor in front of her with a note not to disturb him because he was getting in shape. At that moment, in the room, Dong-ho was doing push-ups. After doing 33 push-ups per approach, he decided to take a break, sitting on the floor and leaning on the bed. He thought about that conversation. When he asked that girl to teach him the same tricks, she was happy to have a new member of her club. She introduced herself as Kwon Jeanie and noticed that Dong-ho was a sophomore, but he asked to communicate without formalities. He just wants to study with her. For him, she will become something like a teacher because at school they don't call teachers by name. Thinking he was weird, she decided to tell him the basics. Inspired, Dong-ho wanted to start right away with an element made by Jeanie, but the girl pointed out the complexity of this element. The main character realized that he was not ready yet, so Jeanie decided to test his abilities. Dong-ho's physical abilities were underdeveloped, and he became discouraged, but his teacher began to support him, saying that these movements are difficult for an unprepared person to perform. Dong-ho believed that he was able to cope with those elements. Jeanie thought over her conclusions and realized her haste. She decided to start with the basics. They approached the horizontal bar and the girl, grabbing, began to explain the basics to a hurried student. After making an exit by force with an explanation of each step, she said that in order to perform Dong-ho, you need to pull up at least 10 times, to which the main character was indignant because he could not even once. Jeanie calmed him down, saying that this is just a beginning and he lacks muscles, and if he does not build them up, they will not be able to move on. To be honest, even this element is difficult for a beginner, and realizing this, Jeanie thought that the only member of her club would leave, but Dong-ho realized that without a foundation, he would not be able to perform these exercises. Did not despair, but on the contrary was filled with confidence and determination. Knowing that it's just a matter of time. The main character's house, Dong-ho, was doing push-ups in his room, pumping his stamina. At the same time, his mother did not understand what had happened to her son these few days when suddenly the delivery came, but Dong-ho's mother did not order anything. Dong-ho came down and said it was his package and asked to help him carry it all. His mom sold the computer while his son is still buying something. When Dong-ho finished with the installation, it turned out to be a pull-up simulator. Dong-ho's mother did not understand since when her son has been playing sports. Later, Dong-ho chased his mom out of the room, saying that he would come down when it was time to eat. Realizing that muscles cannot be pumped up lying on the bed, he decided to strain the muscles. A week later, Kwon Jeanie's class. The girl was sitting at her desk and thinking about missing 2 participants to create a club because of the employment. She needs a deputy. She remembered the day a week ago when she met Dong-ho. Jeanie knew he was a little unusual, but a good guy. She noticed that he was weaker than she thought. Seeing his movements during the fight, she thought he had good stamina, but the reality turned out to be cruel to make such an easy judgment. Is this her carelessness? The classroom door opened abruptly and Dong-ho entered, who loudly asked if the teacher had free time. Many of Jeanie's classmates did not understand the question, and the girl herself blushed. Catching herself, she quickly ran out of the classroom with Dong-ho and reminded her of her request not to call her that at school, but the main character said that a teacher is a teacher. After that, he boasted of his success in pumping muscles. The schoolyard, Dong-ho was hanging on a horizontal bar and Jeanie was standing next to him. The main character began to sway and made a sharp rise, and after a moment, Dong-ho, exerting a large amount of strength, performed the exit by force. When he asked Jeanie about the completed exercise, she stood in a stupor because in such a small amount of time he was able to do this element. The thoughts in the girl's head were mixed up. How this guy was able to pump up muscles so quickly. She spent 3 months on it when Dong-ho did it in a week. Unable to hold the crossbar in his hands, Dong-ho fell down. The girl, who was worried about the guy's condition, ran up to him and saw his prosthesis. Dong-ho quickly said that he had once been injured. Jeanie was shocked by the rate of growth of his strength. She was glad that in such a short time he managed to build up muscles, but with such a leg. Kwon Jeanie's thoughts. In just a week, this guy managed to advance in muscle building. Even if it's the basics, it's still hard with only one leg. The schoolyard. Dong-ho was sitting on the ground, and Jeanie was sitting next to him. She said it was amazing and wanted to clarify if Dong-ho had done anything. The guy said that he was training in order to develop his stamina for dancing. He also noticed the influence of Jeanie's skills. Before the ascent, it looks like he pulled his legs a lot, but when Jeanie almost climbed up, the force she lifted with her legs was like moving on her hands and getting up, and if he hadn't seen this part, he probably wouldn't have gotten up. Jeanie was surprised by his words because he figured out her trick only after seeing it. Now she has an incentive to train him because she sees signs of hard work on the palms of the guy. When Jeanie praised Dong-ho, he remembered the time when he danced and people often talked about him like that. Jeanie jumped up and said decisively that she wanted to gather people faster and form a club to enjoy training. Dong-ho strongly supported her, but forgot to ask about the name of their club. When Jeanie answered his question, he asked which club she wanted to create. A cafe, two members of an unformed club were sitting at a table. Jeanie explained that she had not planned and did not think what she would do next. When she started high school, my goal was to create a club. She admitted that she still can't find members of the club, and she would have given up if it wasn't for Appa, who pushed her to take further action. She asked why Dong-ho decided to take up this particular sport, to which she received the story of Dong-ho's life. He told about the accident and its consequences. They amputated his leg, instead of which they put a prosthesis. Then he was small and did not know what to do except how to leave. After the incident, he realized that he was not capable of anything except dancing. All his friends abandoned him. All he had left from the past was a prosthesis. Others call him a legend, but this title only makes him worse. The world of Dong-ho has lost all its colors. But that day he saw Jeanie, it was like a splash. He doesn't know why, but he wanted to try. It seemed to him that the feelings he experienced as a child were being revived. With this, he can shine again. All thanks to Jeanie, because she made him realize that there is another world in which he can fly, so he had hope. He asked Jeanie to take care of him. The girl unknowingly called Dong-ho amazing. The guy decided to ask again, to which the girl replied that she hoped for a fun time. Dong-ho asked Jeanie not to call him Appa, because where has it been seen that a teacher addresses a student as Appa? Dong-ho asked me to call him Dongi Appa. After trying, the girl blushed, but the guy did not understand the reason for her shyness. Then Jeanie explained that she really wanted an older brother, but Dong-ho still did not understand anything. While they were chatting, three girls came into the cafe. One of them noticed Dong-hee. She told her friends that she needed to leave them. The girls understood their friend because she is interning among idols and she doesn't have much time. After looking at Dong-ho again, she left the establishment. The main character's house. Tired Dong-ho sat on the bed and took off the prosthesis. He complained that the prosthetic leg with constant wearing did not become comfortable. He was aware of his new motivation, so he was happy. When Dong-ho shouted about his training, his brother looked into the room and told him to be quiet and do his homework. Morning. Jeanie was going to school and wondering if she would find people as passionate as Dong-ho. She decided that she also needed to try. School. A first-year student was walking down the corridor. People around were whispering about her beauty and thinking why she came here. It was a girl looking at the main character in a cafe. Dong-ho class. The main character was sitting and thinking about his exit by force. He understood that he needed to make it more natural, so he decided to practice after school, when suddenly a first-year student came into the office and went to Dong-ho. She greeted the main character and began to peer into his face. Unexpectedly for everyone, she gave Dong-ho a slap in the face from which he fell. The dumbfounded protagonist did not understand what was happening and the reason for his beating. He stood up and shouted at the girl who hit him, but after looking at her face he fell silent because she was crying at the same time insulting him and saying that she would never forgive him. Thank you so much for watching, friend. I ask you to like and wish you all the best. Be there.